Welcome to the Caro Kirsch podcast. My name is Caro and this is a video podcast where I talk about cross-stitch. And I just wrapped up my last video, which was a little bit different from what I usually do. And I asked in that video what you guys think, and I have no clue what you guys think. But I'm going to continue with this format until I get some feedback from you or until I get tired of it. Because so far I've been liking it. And at the end of my last video, I've been spinning for my next two projects, because what I'm doing currently is bringing all my works in progress up to their next full percentage goal. So however many stitches I need to get or put in the projects in order to get to the next full percent is what I'm aiming to do. And I thought I let the wheel decide which projects I pull up next. And yeah, I already did the spinning for those projects in my last episode, but just as a recap, the first project I spun for was a Bird Summer, which is a Luca S kit and looks like this. And yeah, I need to put 566.5 stitches into this. The piece has back stitch, hence there is half stitches as well, or stitches that are counted at half. And here is my starting point on this project. I actually haven't decided which project I'm going to work on first. This has the smaller stitch goal, so maybe I'll start with this one. But at the same time, I've just been stitching on 18 count because this is 18 count. So maybe I want to work on the other project, which I can show you my starting point as well. The other project I pulled is this one called Snowman Cottage. The artwork is by Kate Brazier and it's charted by Gecko Rouge. I got this off their Patreon page. So I just got the chart and actually cut 20 rows out of that chart, so now it's more of a square, and I'm also not stitching the background on this one. And this one I'm going to bring up to 10%, and for that I need to put in 1,925 stitches, and this is where I'm starting from. So I finished the top row, which is mainly just fabric showing, and I'm going to start working in a page that I set myself, the size of it. And yeah, so we'll see how much I get done and when I'll talk to you next. And here we are. So I ended up adding 2,093 stitches to Snowman Cottage, and we basically have a full page done. So there is only, I think like maybe 20 stitches tops missing to finish that page. And I was tempted to go for it, but in stitching it would have probably meant another 100 stitches because it's like 2 colors missing in that page. And as you guys know, I finish my thread. So yeah, super happy with this progress. It is very light stitching, as you guys can tell, but yeah, definitely now in the camera screen you can tell that it's like these watercolory trees that are in the background of the piece. So yes, very happy with this. It's now at 10%. I actually had to readjust my numbers yet again, but this time it wasn't missing progress stitches. This time I just had the wrong total number in my list. So I had to correct for that and add another 100 stitches in order to actually get it to 10%. But we're here. So now I'm putting this project away for now. Good progress, so I'm happy with that. And the other project that I pulled was a Bird Summer. And I thought I'll just show that one to you again before I get stitching on it, since I wanted to make a segment today because it's been a week since I last spoke to the camera and started this episode. Because yeah, it was like back to school week. It was very busy. I had like 2 no stitch days and 2 days where I barely got anything in. So most of the progress you just saw I did basically this weekend, where I finally had a little bit more breathing time. But yes, I wanted to say a huge thank you to everybody who commented on my last video. It looks like you guys like this new format. You like the vlog, you like the wheel. So yeah, thank you so much for the lovely comments. I only got positive feedback on the format, and that's good because I like it too. And as I said in my intro, I like it and I'm going to continue with it for now. But as you can already tell, I mean, the last episode I released back again after a week. Now I do my second segment after a week. Sorry, my hair is kind of wet and it's warm and I don't like my hair down because it gets warm in the neck. So I'll be fussing a bit. But I just had a shower, but I wanted to get this in. But anyways, thank you. That's all I meant to say. And also, since I'm saying thank yous, thank you so much to Ebony from In Stitches with Ebony. She gave me a really kind shout out on her last episode. So definitely go check her out. I mean, I've mentioned her before on my channel, so you guys know I like her, but she has lots of full coverage on her channel and I really like most of her projects. And yeah, go check her out. And I'm happy to return the warmth. Thank you very much again for giving me a shout out. And I think I've seen a little flutter of new subscribers after that episode. So welcome if you guys are here for the first time. Hope you like what you see. But yes, I wanted to show you the bird's summer again, just because then I can do another transition. But before we do that, I actually also wanted to spin for another project, since it's been a week and I have no idea how life will be in the following week. Probably similarly busy, because next Friday we're doing the birthday party of my son. So I probably have a few no-stitch days coming up again. But just so I don't run out of projects, since I stitch at night most of the times and I don't really like my segments at night. I think I'm just tired and the lighting isn't great. So I just want to have another project in case I get done with the stitches on the bird's summer. So I think this should be up to date. Let's just spin for one more project. Yin and Yang. Oh, yes, I'm excited. I love that project. I mean, I love all my projects, but I haven't picked this one up in a while. So let me grab that real quick and then I'll show it to you. And then I guess we can go to the next segment. So yeah, this is Yin and Yang. It lives in this project bag, which I like a lot. It's a chart from Puck's Closet, which is an Etsy store. This is a terrible printout, but who cares? This is what it'll look like once it is done. And I'm not stitching the beige background, and I'm sort of in that area. And here is where I'm at with this project. I don't know if you guys have seen me move the hoop yet, but my plan was to stitch up here the dark side of the Yin and Yang and then kind of work my way down on here. But yeah, this is where I'm at currently. I need to put, I don't think that many stitches. No, only 299 stitches to bring this one to 7%. It's currently at 6.7. This is a 25 count that I dyed myself. And I'm stitching this 1/1 with CXC, full cross. Okay, so that'll be exciting. And now I'll just do, for the sake of the transition, the before of my bird summer. So let's see what I get done here. And this is where I got to. So I ended up putting in 572 stitches. And I basically just chose a color that was missing down here and worked it in the entire hoop area. So I think it was just a few greens and blues. So I filled in quite a bit in that flower, which you probably would have spotted in the transition. But yeah, I got that done. in the afternoon of yesterday so that in the evening I could pick up my Yin and Yang as well. Oh yeah, sorry, but before I switch to the Yin and Yang, this is now at 50%. So this was one of the projects. I don't know if that was just the remainder of my first idea of stitching it, bringing everything up to the next 5%. But this is now at 50%. Which is very exciting. I think I started at like 45%. So this is a small project. I think this has just a total of 11 to 12,000 stitches. So 500 stitches gets you quite a few percentages. But yeah, very happy about that. Not as a milestone, but still a huge milestone. 50% is really good. And I was actually looking at my projected finish date, and I could have this done by Christmas. And my husband is thinking of going to Canada for Christmas, just him and my daughter. So maybe I could get this done for my mother-in-law as a birthday. Yeah, as a Christmas present, because she's the intended recipient for this project. So, new goal. But happy about the progress. But since I still had some time yesterday, I was glad that I spun for another project, because I managed to get all the stitches into my next project as well. So this is the Yin and Yang reverse seam, and as I said, my plan was to stitch all the way to the tip, which I managed. And I've since then started kind of filling in every single stitch from that way and stitching back down, and it looks like I did no mistakes, at least stitching those few colors down. Everything added up well, so I'm hopeful that I didn't miscount. I did draw the grid, so it should be fine. But yeah, since I am in the tip here and picking my symbols there, it's mainly those golden colored stitches that are just right delineating the light and dark side of the Yin and Yang. Yeah, so a lot of confetti, but not too bad. So yeah, I added 300 stitches exactly. So that is really nice. The next color I would love to fill in is the one that I substituted. So as you guys maybe remember, I substituted one of those colors that make out the gold rim with an actual gold thread from Ragnarok, but I lost it and I have not found it. So I did an order yesterday for actually a treasure braid now. So I'll show you when that gets in, and hopefully it matches the one that I had before. But one thing I wanted to tell you about, and actually I need to grab my tablet for that. Yeah, it's just one cool feature in Saga, because yeah, I substituted that color, and obviously if I could have just noted down the DMC that I'm substituting it with, but then you kind of need to be aware of that once you kind of stitch that, oh yeah, right, that number I substituted. But what I thought was much cooler and easier is you can, hang on, how can I show this? So this is actually a section of the chart, and you see those little yellow symbols, because in Saga, you can adjust every single symbol. Like you can just change the symbol to something else that you like better, but you can also change the color of the symbol. So now whenever I see that yellow symbol, when I activate that, I know, oh yeah, right, that's the one that I need to substitute the gold with. So that's really nice. I just wanted to point that out because I'm not sure if I mentioned that in my tutorial, and I love the app, as you guys know, so I like spreading some information about it. But yeah, anyways, so this project now was technically supposed to sit at 7%, but guess what? I messed up my numbers again. This time it was a combination of things. Like the total amount was wrong because I still had the stitch amount in, assuming that this is full coverage. So it's way less. And I was also missing some stitch progress that I didn't input. So this is now not at 7%, but at 9.3%, because yeah, this whole sky, I don't need a stitch. Which is a little bit annoying, but at the same time, the silver lining is this project of bringing every project up to 1% or the full percent is actually tidying up my Notions database. So I do like that. So I'm assuming we're gonna have a few more mistakes coming our way. But now all I want to do is spin for the next 2 projects. So I think we can just spin for 2 more, which probably will be the last segment of this video. But I have a feeling, and I guess we'll just spin and then we'll see and talk about it. I have a feeling we're gonna hit one of those big stitch amount projects. But let's just spin and see. We also haven't had one of those projects that I haven't stitched on this year. Ooh, Fairytale, nice. Neither one of those 2 categories that I just said, but I love this one. It's obviously my newest start, so I'm excited about that. I guess we'll talk about the amount of stitches later. And the second project will be a snow leopard, yay! So that is one of the projects that I have not touched yet this year. So let me grab those 2 projects and then we talk about them. Okay, so I got my projects. So the first one we spun was the project, and I'm going to refer to this from now on to just Dark Fairytale, because it consists of 2 images done by Barrett Biggers. He is a digital artist and he's being charted by Pain Free Crafts. And Pain Free Crafts has Dark Cinderella, which this mainly looks like Dark Cinderella, but I did change out a little bit of the image, the stag here in the middle that is from the chart Dark Snow White, which why I'm calling it just Dark Fairytale, and it's kind of the cross of the 2. So let's see if I can stick with that name. But yeah, I changed the size of this. I chopped it in half and I ended up just charting this myself. So this is my own mock-up and chart now. I did purchase the Pain Free Craft chart though. The intent was to stitch that one, but yeah, just didn't like the detail. And yes, so this is where I'm at in this project currently, and I need to add quite a few stitches, 1,574, to bring this to 6%. It's currently sitting at 5.2%. I'm stitching this one on 25 count 2/110 with Painting Fairy floss. It's the one and only project I have with that floss. I really like it, and my plan is to kind of fade out from CXC and fade into the Painting Fairy, but it's probably gonna take a while because I have a full, or got a full master set of CXC. But yeah, anyways, so this is my starting point here. And the other project is one we haven't seen in eons. I don't even remember the last time I stitched on it. My daughter is gonna love to see me stitch on this because it is intended for her, or she was wishing for it. And that is this piece. It is called Snow Leopard, again by Pain Free Crafts. This is the actual chart by them. And the artwork is by George Wildlife Art. So this is based on a super high realistic painting of a snow leopard. And I really love it. And I'm stitching this one on my frame, which might be the reason that I'm not picking it up. We'll see. But this is where my starting point is. I don't need that many stitches, 416 to bring this project to 5%. It's currently at 4.5. It's a fairly small project, I think like 87,000 or something. I think it's coming out super nice. But yeah, the confetti is real in this. But I'm just gonna keep going. I actually was more scared of the chart than I am now before I started stitching. Because yeah, I was terrified of the confetti. I think it's all right. It stitches up well, and I actually don't mind the confetti too much. So yeah. This is where I'm at here. And here we are. So this is now at 5%. I added 425 stitches, and I hope this is the last project I've shown you. Otherwise, you're going to see a before picture, but I hope the transition worked. I just don't remember which one I showed you last. But yeah, so I continued working in this page. It looks like I only used one color, but trust me, there's probably like 17 different grays and beiges and browns in this little patch, and there's 420 more of those. So the colors aren't too exciting to use in this project, but I do like it. I think because you don't really expect anything else, you're not disappointed in stitching with those colors. In contrast to the next project, where you do expect to stitch with colors, but you end up stitching with the same exact colors. So the other project that I needed to put some work in was my dark Fairytale. And I actually did a whole lot in this one. So this is now at 6% because I added 1,590 stitches. So I stitched in this whole area. I think I worked on four blocks of 400 stitches, just completing them. But yeah, so mainly in this area. And here there were some fun, like kind of tealy turquoise colors, but down here it's all just like beiges and grays and stuff. So not too exciting to work on. But yeah, still kind of stitching on nothing really figurative, but still enjoying the quickness of this project. And yeah, this is now at 6%. And yeah, this took me all week. I think I put the last stitches in. When did I put the last stitches in? I don't know. Yesterday, maybe? Yeah, I think yesterday I put the last stitches in that I needed. It wasn't very many because as expected, the full last week, I don't remember when I did the last segment, but it must have been last weekend probably. Yeah, just birthday of my son. It's over now. It was very nice. The kid had fun, but yeah, I was exhausted by the time the party was over. I already felt a headache creeping in during the party. So yes, I definitely needed this weekend to just relax. But yeah, so this took me all week to get done because I had another 2 no stitch days and I think another 2 very low stitch days. But that is totally okay. But because I was so exhausted yesterday, I really didn't feel like filming, but I wanted to start another project. So I just grabbed another project because I knew I wanted to get that one in the can before I spin for my loom. And the project I'm talking about that I pulled is Ragnarok. So Ragnarok is my long dog sampler, and I'm actually going to show you my mock-up here on my tablet because I spent some time today changing the pattern, adjusting for the color changes that I was planning to make, and the finished result will not be as contrasty at all. I just picked something that was obviously darker, just so it's easy to see on the pattern. But I also added, let me just zoom into one area, some backstitch, because long dog samplers have backstitch, and I was somewhat aware of that, but not fully. But yes, since I added the backstitch now, the total number of stitches in this project changed again. And what does that mean? That my numbers for my percentage game doesn't work fully. And honestly, it doesn't make a whole lot of sense in my head. Because one, I don't even exactly remember how many stitches I needed to do according to my little table there, but I know for my next Mauston Manor turn, I needed to do 450 stitches, and it aligned pretty well with what I needed to do for the next percentage, which by the way is 29%, but currently I'm sitting at 28.49%, because I already did a few stitches. But I don't think I'm gonna go all the way to 29%, because that would need another 400 stitches, and I'm going to stop at my Mauston Manor turn basically. So let me just show you what I did. So I'll just insert a before picture because obviously I missed the before to show you in this vlog, but I was working on this leaf, which I basically stitched twice because at first I was counting off of this bit down, but I needed to count off of this bit down. So this whole thing was probably like 10 stitches too low. And I noticed when I was running into the raven, hang on, my phone. Okay, now it's quite a bit later. I talked to my mom. She called me. So this took a minute. Now the light's probably going to be very different and I'm not 100% sure what I was talking about, but I just watched the last 30 seconds of the clip. So it was talking about how I stitched this one twice because I counted off the wrong bit of that leaf here. But that's what I did. And then I also started doing some of the backstitch that I input into my pattern now, which changed all the numbers. I hope I talked about that before. Otherwise, I'll tell you next time I pull out this project. But yeah, so I started doing some backstitch here and you can barely tell. I can try to go really, really close. Then you'll probably be able to tell some of the backstitch. This whole area will be still filled with backstitch actually. There is a lot of backstitch in this project. I think it added like 1,000 stitches or something like that. So yes, quite a bit of backstitch. But the funny thing is, because I had this silk color dilemma that I have. And actually the color that I chose a CXC thread for the backstitch because the silk itself would be too thick for the backstitch. So I knew I was going to use normal floss anyways, and I figured I'll pick kind of what fits to the darkest bits of my floss that I have. And this looks quite a bit darker than all the rest, but stitched as the backstitch, it really doesn't look much darker than the rest. Which kind of helped me with my decision. I asked you guys back in that video where I talked about this, what I should do. And most of you said that I should dye my floss that I have darker and use it as a contrast. But honestly, doing this right now, I don't think the difference will be that big. It looks pretty, it looks quite different if you hold the floss next to one another, but it really doesn't look that different if you actually stitch it up. So I think I'll stick to those areas that I marked out in my pattern anyways, and I will use the darker floss for those areas. And either it'll be a very subtle difference, but even if it is a bit starker of a difference, it won't be like slashing through the middle of a motif or anything. So I'll stick to motifs using the one floss or the other. And yeah, I think that's how I'm going to finish the project. Honestly, I think there's still also a chance of that darker floss fading with sunlight. So all the floss might look the same in the end anyways. So I don't want to over-engineer this whole thing. So I think I'm not going to over-dye anything. I'm just going to use the floss as is. If it really looks weird, I can always rip out. Probably won't do that, but whatever. This is a learning experience. If it doesn't turn out a masterpiece, then that's that. But I think that's what I'm going to do. I don't want to create more problems with this project than necessary. So that is all the stitching I have. And I think that also will conclude this episode, actually, because I figured, I don't know, how many projects did we do? 6? I feel like we had 6 projects in this episode, or maybe even 7 with this one now. So that's definitely enough to look at. And it's been 2 weeks, so that would be a perfect gap from episode to episode. So yeah, I'm liking this. So I think the plan is to stick to this. I'm sorry, does that sound weird? You guys definitely seem to like this format and I'm having fun with it. It actually works quite well, squeezing in little segments even when I'm just home for like a half hour. If you're just filming for like 15 minutes, then it's very easy to do. So maybe I'll try sticking with this format for a little while anyways. Yes, I will do this spinning for the next 2 projects at the beginning of next episode. I think that in the end flows a little bit better anyways. So yeah, I guess this brings me just to the end of this episode. So thank you so much for watching. What do we do? Do we do that? I feel like we did a blue heart not too long ago, but I want to do a blue heart again. Throw me a blue heart, my favorite emoji. No, throw me your favorite emoji. How about that? Throw me your favorite emoji if you watch till the end. So that'll give me some inspiration for next time, I guess. Okay, enough talking. See you guys later. Thank you so much. Bye bye.